everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of the F1GridView race review. Today we'll be reviewing the Turkish Grand Prix that was held on the 10th of October 2021. Mika, first thoughts, fresh off the race.
So boring.
I mean,
Just very.
yeah, we're spoiled. We're spoiled. It's a fun season, so there we will take a boring race. I think we can calm ourselves down, just understand how supreme Mercedes are, and just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, we were all expecting a little bit better.
Yes, considering it was a wet race as such, they did start on inters.
I think if it would have been a dry race and then become a wet race, or wet, dry, wet, that would have been a better thing.
True.
There would have been a little more drama.
Yeah, you would see more tire changes. You would see more of that tactics coming into play. Yeah, that's okay. That's fair. So yeah, let's go to our first slide. Let's see how the race finished. Let's see who is the championship leader now, because it does change week by week basis. So let's see that. Yeah, as you see, Valtteri Bottas is the race winner, was the pole sitter, and is our race winner. Max Verstappen finishes P2, Sergio Perez finishes P3, Charles finishes P4, Lewis Hamilton finishes P5, and Pierre Gasly 6, Lando 7, Carlos 8, Lance 9th, and Esteban Ocon finishes P10. And Esteban Ocon finishes P10 without any pit stops.
Yeah,
as you see.
That was good to watch for him.
Yeah. First lap incidents. Gasly crashes into Fernando Alonso, gets a 5-second penalty. Fernando goes and crashes into Schumacher, also gets a 5-second penalty. As a result of this, Fernando finishes at P16 and 11 plays grid drop, which is too much. And our driver of the day is Carlos Sainz, who makes up 11 places and finishes P8 from P19, because Daniel Ricardo was P20 after this engine and penalty. So yeah, that's that.
What is your opinion?
I mean, it was a decent race. There was nothing. It just once Valtteri took off and killed it on the first lap, he got a gap, and it didn't seem like it was possible for anybody to overtake him. Max and Valtteri and drove very, very, very perfect race as such, because they didn't make a lot of mistakes. They were just at it, and I think that was what was needed. And for Valtteri, might just be his last win as a Mercedes driver, or as an F1 driver. You never know. You never know. Yeah, you never know. So that was that, and that brings us to the championship points total. We'll see where Lewis and Hamilton are after this race. Lewis getting just he finishes P5, so just 10 points, and Max getting 25, and Max going ahead by 6 points with 6 races to go. It's going to be a very, very close.
They'll keep going up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah, and the decider at Abu Dhabi, which is going to be the cherry on the cake.
That's going to be interesting.
That's what all of us are waiting for, I think, at this point. Nice.
Yeah.
So, what do you have to say about how well Mick Schumacher did in qualifying yesterday? And
he did amazing. Getting into Q2 was a big deal in Haas. But then you put him in a Haas at P14 or P20. He is going to end up in the last 3 positions, however you try.
That's right.
At one point, Nikita also overtook him and was P20.
Yeah, that's very true.
Just check how good Nikita is. He has potential.
Yeah, sadly, he cannot win the championship this year, but that's fine. There was a very close race also. Coming to the whole fiasco that happened with Vettel also. Vettel now post race taking the blame to himself, saying that it was him who asked for the change and it was him who wanted the dry tires. So that was a good statement coming from a senior member of the team, and that was a very horrible call, going from inters to medium tire.
Yeah, but like he is always, someone who tries out something. Like even I don't remember which race he got the podium, but was low on fuel.
Baku.
It's always him who has some
These
small
issues.
error. Yeah,
but that's what you get for taking risk. Fair enough. That does happen.
But then sometimes the risks turn out to be good. So it's okay. We have two guests today joining us, Harish and Prabhpreet, to give their review about the race for today.
Hello guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for inviting us.
That's my review. The race was boring. Anyway,
I mean that suffices everything. I get that.
I think that should be the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
The race was painful.
Too much. Yeah, like it was raining. I expected a little bit more. Like this is just too dull. This is too dull for a race.
There should be some spinning, some crashing, at least a little bit.
I mean,
okay. So I'll give you a little bit of background. So I've been watching. I started following this, I think, last November, December, towards the ending of the last season, and the whole of 2020, I have started watching season reviews, going year by year backwards. So on the treadmill, there are 4-hour season reviews. You can find them on YouTube. We'll give you a recap of every race through the season. So I have gone backwards from 2021. I'm back to 2003 right now. So I've seen almost like 14 years back to 2016, 17, 18, 19, and 20. The races are as dull as this. We've been so lucky this year that we feel that a race like this is dull as hell. But the last 5 years have just been exactly how this is, with Mercedes just running away with things. And today Lewis made a mistake, but that never freaking happens in those 5 years also. Sorry, Mihika.
Someone asked me, which year did you start? I was like, this year. He's like, you're so lucky you started this year. Otherwise, you would have hated it and left it as it is.
I agree with what Harsh said, because I started watching F1 around 2 years ago, and I'm used to these sort of races. Like every race in the past 2 years, 2019 and 2020, has been like this. Yeah. So, it didn't feel too unnatural to look at this.
Correct. But like the races we've had in the last 6-7 months of this year have been so freaking good.
Yeah.
I mean, like the thing is, like I know a lot of you guys do think that way, but I've genuinely liked the past 5 to 6 years as a Mercedes and Lewis fan. I found 2020 was an amazing season. I genuinely liked it. And today's race, it was dull, but
I think today has decided that it's time for Mercedes supremacy to end.
Mercedes was the fastest car on the grid.
It should end.
Yeah, but you never know. No, 2022 is gonna be crazy again. Like how Mercedes, Ferrari was running away with it. Red Bull ran away with it, and after the regulations, then Merc just took over for the last 6 years. So you never know what's happening next year. I'm just assuming Williams to go all out. No, it's Williams and Haas, I'm sure. Next year, they are.
I think McLaren. I mean, on a serious note, I think McLaren has a lot of chances in 2022.
They do have.
And personally, I'm completely okay with Mercedes dominating as long as the team behind Mercedes are competing. Right? Like it was today, right? I mean, Bottas did lead the entire race, but there was still a lot of competition behind him. So,
like that's a segue into how Bottas, he drove a flawless, except for that one mistake in like turn 1 or something. Apart from that, it was a flawless race from his end.
He took the lead and he just ran with it. Like there was no looking
back.
Dude,
even his start was really good. It was actually a pretty good start.
So good.
I mean, at turn 2, his start, fumbled a little bit, but like the original.
He never
managed
when
the lights went out. He jumped start so quickly. Like he got a nice time gap between him and Max at that point also.
The thing is, like we know how aggressive Max is, and even if he sees like a flicker of an opportunity, Max would take it. But Bottas didn't give him, like he made some mistakes, but it wasn't big enough for Max to capitalize on them. So that was also like very important.
Very true.
I think everyone made mistakes today, given the track condition.
Yeah.
I don't
know what was happening
so much
with
oversteer.
Aston Martin and Vettel. Like they gave him a medium tire. That lap was just so difficult to watch. That was
literally Lando in Sochi. Yeah,
but that was
I was
one
expecting
turn with Lando.
they might have done something here, which is like innovative. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe
it's too risky. Like that was the rationale behind why Seb did it also. Like he was like, we'll do something different and then we'll get a lot of places.
Yeah, he was anyways P17 or P14 or P15 when
he had nothing
started
to lose, to be
There's
honest.
nothing to lose. Yeah, fair enough.
There was nothing to lose per se.
That's what McLaren were behind with Daniel also. He put it first. I think he put it 4 laps before any of the other people did.
Yeah.
And he did. In the end, he did try to make it up, but then he was P11 on to take 1 point of P10. But I don't know what happened. He just finished P13, and that was that.
On that note, I'd like to ask Mihika what she thinks about Daniel Ricciardo's performance today.
That's gonna be a rough one.
Not go into that. It was. I mean, he started P20, so we can't.
But again, Carlos Sainz started P19.
Yeah.
This track has really helped Mercedes. They've been pretty good the last 3 days. I don't think it's the track
Mercedes.
McLaren. But like
Lewis's pole lap yesterday was really good.
Yeah.
There was literally no mistakes there. He just went for it and
That's perfect.
Yeah.
He killed it. Yeah.
But like respect to Bottas for capitalizing on Lewis's power unit change.
Definitely. Oh no, I have said power unit twice and people have pushed me. No, if he was power unit, he would be P20.
Okay,
so just
part of the
yeah. Because Twitter's all behind this British bias, which Alonso is with, saying everything with British drivers, they take it easy. If it's not the British driver, they get penalized with the pit entry last, with him taking that cut at Sochi. So he's trying to. He's in the press conferences fighting for that they are biased towards the British drivers.
A question to everyone. So of course, you already talked about the race start, but one more incident which took place at the race start was Gasly, obviously colliding
with Alonso.
So yeah, and he got a 5-second penalty for that. So what are everyone's views on that? Was that penalty deserved? Which I don't think it personally.
Racing incident for me.
Yeah,
there wasn't. Clearly sandwiched.
I think Fernando getting the 5-second penalty for the Mick thing was probably more deserved.
I thought he was just angry at that point. He was just like, screw it. Whoever's in my way,
he just went, fuck it.
Yeah, just go for it. I'm going for it. Yeah.
Prabhpreet, I don't think we're allowed to use that language over here. We'll have to beef you now. Yeah.
I mean, he's already shown the finger once.
That's okay. I'm sure
Who
that's
showed
fine.
the finger?
I showed you the finger. You blow me out. It's okay.
So yeah, I think racing incident for me. Racing incident. He was sandwiched. I don't think he had another path to go. He was going to crash into him. There was no and he did steer himself, like it didn't become a bigger problem. So I think it was not worse. So
Harishraj internet is good.
Yeah, is it okay now? It's my internet.
Yeah.
So I think 5 seconds was not that bad.
There was one thing that I did notice in towards I think 15th or 20th lap. This was not a race for overtakes in general. Like if you saw the top 10 people, Max was constantly 4 to 5 seconds behind Bottas all the time.
Yeah.
And everyone was minimum 5 seconds behind each other. Like it wasn't,
correct.
I don't know if it's a track thing. I don't know if it's a rain thing, but
looking at Carlos, overtaking did seem like it was easy because he was making them so quickly in the first 4-5 laps.
Carlos,
he was going through
When the fact that overtaking was so difficult, then you, in retrospect, you look at Lewis's overtake on Tsunoda, which was around the curve.
Correct.
That was a beautiful move.
That was really good. That is experience, and that just shows how you can just keep the grip on and then go for it.
And then he picked out.
I genuinely think.
Stroll one by one.
What?
I mean, after that move on Tsunoda, he picked off Stroll and Lando one.
Yeah, bro. Stroll after Tsunoda, everyone just came, except for Sergio, obviously, but everyone was pretty easy. I think I would there's this one point that I was thinking about. So over the past, Harsh brought it up before, how Mercedes have been really dominant. So they've always been in the front of the grid for a very long period of time.
True.
So a lot of people have questioned Hamilton's overtaking abilities because in his career, he's consistently been in a pretty good car, if not the best car.
Yeah.
But so what do you guys think about his overtaking abilities in general?
He has experience, so it's not it's just you see him at the top, so you can't like the new ones can't judge him, but he has good experience and he can overtake. It's not like he can't. Like today showed how good he is.
True,
If you
but
see
like I
any
personally believe
interviews, if post 2014, the way the internet feels about how Hamilton dominates everything and how it's just the car, not him. And he just like if he was in a different car, he would not do the same thing. It's the same rationale everybody had about Vettel and Red Bull then. Like it was just Red Bull and there was just that. And people like really did not like Vettel and his attitude just in general.
I remember.
And that was
the thing is,
and the turnaround he has now, which like
Yeah,
just
and
everybody
everyone loves
Seb.
Seb.
Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
just loves Seb. And like
It's like a
for me, it just
360.
seems like Vettel is a different person, Seb is a different person. Like it was just that, like it just seems so weird. And I think that's the same case with Lewis. It's just how good a driver he is that everybody just takes his achievements for granted.
I think the commentator said at the start of this season that now that the Red Bull and the Mercedes are so competitive this time around, Verstappen will for the first time feel how good Hamilton really is.
Yeah.
Because they're competing in very
but
he said that, but I don't think that has panned out, as well as it could have. But yeah.
The 2021 season has only been like this flavorful because people have made mistakes, especially Hamilton. He has genuinely been under pressure. Like I'm a huge Hamilton fan, but I've seen him made a lot of mistakes this year.
But that's what Red Bull's done so beautifully well. They have kept him under pressure. Say whatever you want about the second cursed seat and anything, but Perez has like pushed Hamilton to make mistakes at particular races. Like whatever you say about that race.
When Perez was defending Hamilton today, the only thing I remember is how Bottas easily let Max through in Sochi. And like that's the exact thing that I thought about when that happened.
That's what you get if you have the next year's contract.
Yeah, that's true. I did hear somebody put out a very good tweet saying like just Valtteri should just look at his car. I'm sure Toto's keyed his new car that he's got as a transfer going away present. He's just keyed all over it and scratched all over his car just for letting him go, like giving him a red carpet to go through. That was no defending at all. Yeah, like Russell is really good. Like Russell's been putting his car up. Like
in my opinion,
just like coming back to qualifications yesterday also, if Russell didn't spin at the last turn, he was definitely in the top 6.
He would have gotten into Q3. He would have got
into Q3, got into the top 6 or 7. And
speaking of qualifying, the last qualifying, Mick Schumacher yesterday.
Oh, wow.
That was good.
Yeah.
So Haas is a goddamn tractor. It's not even a car. And he put the tractor through into Q2.
It didn't matter whether he started P14 or P18. He was gonna end up in P19.
Yeah, there was no race pace. It was just one lap pace. There was no race pace in the car at all.
The thing is, in F1, though, there are 18 people who fight for positions, and the last 2 are just fighting with each other for like 19th or 20th.
They don't even
That's
fight
literally
with each other.
The only purpose Haas still, serves to F1 is first the Mazepin memes, and secondly, the
Gunther.
And the Gunther in Drive to Survive. That's it. Those are the
and total of 10 teams.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah. Gunther just doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be a bunch of wankers.
The most popular Reddit joke or meme or whatever theory going around is if Lewis and Max do end up at the same points, just make them race in and Haas, see who wins.
20-lap race in a Haas.
That's what I've been saying all along. They should all race in the same car. That's how you come to know their capabilities.
That's how a lot of other car works. But that takes out a major part of what makes F1.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, it's been established that F1 is not just a driver sport. It's a team sport.
Completely fair.
That is, if you want that, you have IndyCar, you have things like that where you can go where all the cars are basically the same. And F1's not doing that, and F1 should. That's what is great about this sport.
Like the regulations make sense to kind of like bring the pack together, but the makers should be able to make their own car. That's why they're called constructors at the end of the day.
Exactly. Speaking of that, where we are in the points table is Max has taken a 6 points lead now, and both of them are done with their engine penalties. 6 races to go. What do you think is happening now?
But they're racing at Austin next, right?
Yes.
As long as the gap doesn't increase, it's good. That's all I care.
I think,
but
given
these races,
Mercedes' performance like in the past, things are looking up for them.
Yeah.
They were extremely fast, but well, it's so
really fast. But see, the thing is, the conditions were kind of the same throughout the weekend, like Saturday and Sunday. So that might have been a factor. And again, Turkey is somewhere that Mercedes was incredibly dominant last year. They did. Lewis won his 7th World Championship at Turkey last year.
Yep.
So you never know. I'm not really sure. So I know that Mercedes has won at.
Didn't Bottas finish P13 last year?
He was out of the points. Yes, he was out of the points.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go, buddy.
He was out of the points.
I mean, he couldn't be Mr. Sochi, so he had to come here.
And even in Turkey last year, I think the pole. I think Stroll got the pole last year.
Got pole.
Stroll,
yes.
That was insane. That was Turkey. The thing is, another highlight about Turkey is I think Seb got his first and only podium at Turkey last year.
Yeah.
And
Seb, that's where Seb made his debut back in 2009
a very surprising
or 2007.
Yeah. The thing is, I'm not really sure about the technicalities, but I was just genuinely happy to see Seb there when Lewis won his 7th championship. Something about that was just like really sweet to watch. And like I remember he got out of his car and he went straight to Lewis and he congratulated him for his achievement. Really sweet moment.
But that's very different this year because every time you see him talk about Lewis getting his 8th, he's just genuinely sad that Lewis might take it away from his idol, which was Michael. He's just sad visibly that Lewis might steal it away from the person he used to idolize, and he and Fernando for that matter. Fernando is genuinely angry at Lewis, like Lewis has done so well.
Fernando, the only job Fernando has this year is defending people from like getting through, and he's like always he's motivating a lot of the youngsters. He's doing a lot of that this year. And he wants Max to win. He wants Max to win the championship.
That's not true. He just wants Lewis to lose. He doesn't care whoever wins. It's so 2007 when they were together as teammates, and the whole McLaren saga happened of them taking documents of Ferrari and all that. Next year, Lewis was almost winning, and he still tried crashing into him to make sure Felipe had a chance to like go ahead. It was really bad that year. Like just. That was McLaren was his
and Alonso has a pretty fucked up past with crashing shit like that. I mean,
So
Alonso, I feel like Alonso is someone who had the caliber to win more world championships than what he has at the moment, but he has some messed up career choices, to be honest.
For sure. Leaving Renault over at the top for McLaren didn't make sense. Just staying with them.
Even in Lewis's very first season, like 2008, 2009, like those could have been Alonso's years.
Yeah, but Lewis as a rookie almost was just
Lewis as a rookie was
shy.
Lewis lost that championship by 1 point in 2007.
Yeah, I remember.
Right?
That race is so good. That last race in Brazil is so good.
Guys, a question I have. So, with regards to this season, this is not a segue at all. This is just a random question. So, this season, a lot of people have said that the Mercedes car is inferior to the Red Bull car this time around. So do you believe that's true given the races that we've had, or is it just down to driver excellence?
Red Bull has been upgrading their cars more than Mercedes, I feel. Like at some points they are much better than the Mercedes cars. So I feel sometimes they are.
I think in laps where there are longer straights, I think Mercedes is better. But I think at high speed corners, Red Bull has been amazing. I don't think Mercedes are close in places where there are high speed turns, and I think
in my opinion, Sorry, go on, Harsh.
No, just in longer stretches, Red Bull is quicker by far. Their pace is really
good. Like you said, Red Bull have like obviously both of the cars work with different downforce. Like the cars are designed to so I think Mercedes has it's a low rake system if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So it has much more downforce. So I think that has a lot to do with the speeds at straights versus corners. Another thing is, so I personally feel like Red Bull is at least 2/10 or 200s faster than Mercedes this year on just pure merit, like car wise. But the reason why they have been able to put up such a fight is probably strategy. They've been on point with most of their decisions this year, which Mercedes has from time to time stumbled this year. They've fumbled in some races. But Red Bull, the thing is, I think after they realized that they have a shot in Bahrain, they realized that during testing itself, they realized that they have a shot this year.
True.
They've been incredibly confident with most of their moves. Like they've been the ones who are making the first move, and it's been Mercedes trying to negate whatever Red Bull does most of the time.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you can see that because Hamilton is genuinely under pressure. You see the number of laps in the whole championship Hamilton is led to versus Max. There's a huge difference. Like you don't see that ever with Lewis. Like he's just...
So I know for a fact that in Sochi and in the British Grand Prix, he barely led he only led the last few laps before winning.
Charles led 40 laps, 48 laps.
Down to win the race.
Yeah.
But
end of the race, he comes from nowhere and just gets the pole position.
But then at the end of the day, that's what matters. It's not.
Calls it, but that's.
I think Crofty said it in the comments today while he was commentating. He said it doesn't matter where you start; it matters where you finish. So.
True. Yeah.
But
that does but the number of laps he's led, how few they have been, just says something of how good the Red Bull have been.
Yeah.
Putting them under pressure with strategy, with the better car. I personally
feel better
car.
Go on.
To just answer the question.
Go on.
I have a different topic altogether. So if you have something to say about this, go on, Harish.
No.
So what is your opinion?
Yeah, Prabhpreet, what do you have to say?
My opinion, I think I agree with what Harsh and Harish said, because if you notice, even the McLarens are very fast in the high, on the straights. So that's because they have a McLaren, a Mercedes engine. So makes sense. So what I was thinking about is, I am not personally aware of this, but have the FIA made some changes to the regulations when it comes to the pit stops? Because
yes, they have.
Makes sense.
They have.
Yeah,
I think it came in Monaco.
Before,
if I'm not
what
wrong.
happened?
When was it?
Just after Monaco.
What
happened was, before you could just there was no human when you were done with the whole pit stop. You could just flash the green light and the cars could go through. So because of that, there was some change that they suggested, and there the person has to manually press the button to make sure it was done. So that was the change they have, and I think a lot of teams are still understanding how that properly works, or just forgetting that the button has to be manually pushed, and that's causing them, because Red Bull is going under 2 almost every pit stop. Like if not for Max, then for Perez or something. But all of them have become like a 2.6, 2.7 now, which is not that big a difference, but it is a big deal.
It is.
See, so basically, I know for a fact that after Monaco, FIA genuinely wanted the teams to slow down their pit stops.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it worked to a big disadvantage for Red Bull because they've consistently had the fastest pit stop.
Nailed it.
And the thing is, a lot of that entire meme about how FIA is Mercedes is henchmen and stuff like that. They literally work for Mercedes. So that came up again because it intentionally seemed like they were trying to sabotage Red Bull's wins this year.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Red Bull did struggle. I think until today. So today, I think Max's pit stop was 2.1 seconds. Yeah. But until today, they were struggling, and Mercedes was actually doing pretty well compared to the other teams with the pit stop.
I think if they didn't have this in Monza, the crash shouldn't have gone through. I think the crash was just because of bad pit stop Max had in Monza. He was sure there was no way he was going to get through Lewis if he didn't go through turn 1, how he did, and I think that's what did it for that race.
We're segueing into the Max and Lewis crash, which I have a lot of strong opinions on.
Everyone does.
My man Max put a car on goddamn Lewis's head. So yeah.
Yeah, the pit stops also remind me. Esteban did finish without any pit stops. P11 without any pit stops.
Yeah, I saw it. He was the only driver.
Yeah.
Esteban Ocon
finished P11. No pit stops. He started on inters and he finished on the same pair of inters.
Wait, I have a question for you guys about today's race. If Lewis, so you guys know that Lewis didn't want to pit, but Mercedes forced him to pit, right?
Yeah,
so do you guys, where do you think Lewis would have finished if he did not pit?
P3.
No, same
I
place.
don't think so.
Exactly.
I don't think so. I think same.
Yeah.
He finished P5.
Yeah, I think Leclerc was lapping after Leclerc pitted, a few laps after Leclerc pitted. Every lap he was doing was around 1 to 1.5 seconds faster than Lewis. So he was eventually going to catch up to him, and he was going to finish P4.
And
Okay.
it was just a minute or two where he was scared that Gasly would take him, because Gasly did get very close.
Yeah, towards the very end.
Yeah. So that happened.
And like Norris got
but like
so
genuinely after pitting, the cars that with fresher tires were not faster than the cars with old tires.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the thing is, like, we saw that clearly with Daniel Ricciardo. His car was just trash after the early pit stop. He was still in like 19th place.
Yeah.
I mean, no, he was in 18th place, because
from
19th
17
and
to
20th are
19.
always Haas's,
Yeah.
so you can never
Yeah.
take that away from them.
He went from 17 to 19 for a few laps, and then
Yeah.
he came up.
Yeah.
I think it took
Yeah.
the intermediates around 10 to 15 laps to really get going and get to the.
It had to warm up, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I
So,
think, like,
anyways, before
on the
we
WhatsApp-
before we just wrap it up, how much would you rate this race out of 10? Mihika?
5. It was
You have
very
too much
good.
of the 2021 bias in you right now. That's a 6 there. Harish? That's a 4. Okay.
Okay, now he doesn't have.
I'm
the
just
bias.
salty. Lewis didn't win. I
That's
genuinely
okay.
thought Lewis will win, and he didn't win.
That's okay.
What
I
about
would
you?
say 6. I would say 6. It
Yeah,
was not that
6.
bad, but yeah, it was average. I'd say it was average.
The stuff was pretty interesting, with
Other
the
than
tire.
the last few
Yeah.
laps, other
Yeah.
than the
See,
last
I
few
think-
laps, there's nothing.
I hate to say this, but I feel like this year we've had so many interesting races that have
Exactly.
a pretty average one seems kind of refreshing.
Yeah. Yeah.
After a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sort of sense. Yeah.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you.
We'll definitely have you
Thank you.
again.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Thank you
Bye-bye,
for
guys.
inviting us. It was really fun.
Yes.
Bye.
There were some really good insights from 2 of our guests who we had. That was a fun conversation. Well, let's talk about the actual race that happened today. But still, overall, it was a very fun conversation. So coming back to the race, we'll just go through how the drivers finished in what order, from 1 to 20, with, of course, Valtteri Bottas being the winner of the race. So, Mika, let's do this. Let's give them our ratings out of 10 points. Let's start with you. Let's start from Bottas. How do you think Bottas did out of 10?
He did really good. I think a 9.
Let's just do this quickly and give them numbers, and that's how we'll start this. So Bottas.
Okay. 9.
9 from me as well. Verstappen.
8.
8.5. I think so too. Yeah, 8.5. Perez.
9.
I think a 9 too, just because of how well he kept Lewis behind.
He managed to not get Hamilton ahead.
Yeah, just for Max, just what we did for Max. 9. Leclerc. Charles.
7.5.
Yeah, I think so. That seems right. Hamilton.
7.
6. He could do better. He could do better.
He could.
Gasly. I think an 8, because of the penalty
Yeah.
was wrong. I don't think that was a fair penalty.
Yeah.
And still finishing P6, an 8. Norris is also a 7. Very forgettable, very average race. What about you
Yeah.
for Norris?
Same. I think 7, 7.5.
A 7. Carlos.
He got driver of the day.
That's a 9.5 from me.
Yeah.
Like the way he was overtaking everybody was really good.
Yeah.
Stroll is also an 8 for me. He was beautiful with the car he had. He did a good job. Ocon.
7.
I think he made the tires last with 0 pit stops. So I think I'll give you an extra point just for that. So an 8. Just because of
8.
keeping the tires.
Yes.
Gio finished P11. Jesus is at 11. I think a 7, 6, 7. Him and Kimi are both, I think, a 6 for me, 6 or 7, because they did actually finish above an Alpha Tauri and Alpine. So for me, that's a good 6.5, 7. Daniel and a McLaren.
Even above. Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel 5.
5, yeah, 4 and 5,
5.
4.5, 5. That was a very average race. Yuki,
So,
coming from 10, finishing P14 or 4, I don't think.
yeah, it's like very low.
Yeah. Russell, 5.
4.5.
Yeah, 4.55. Russell For Russell, Alonso is going to be a 3 for me. That was a very disappointing.
He could have
Yeah.
done way better.
Yeah, starting P5 or P6, just finishing at P16. I think that's a 4 of 3 for me. Latifi is also the same as Russell, P5 points. Vettel, just because of goofing up on his tire, is a 3 again. How much would you give Vettel? A 3?
3.5.
Yeah. Schumacher's a 4 for me. Just an extra point for qualification yesterday.
Qualification. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mazepin, do we need to rate her?
10.
I mean,
Okay, 3.
not gonna make a difference.
No, it's 3. It's 3. Come on. He did get classified and didn't finish the race. So 3.
Yeah. True.
So yeah, it was a nice race, and very
Yeah,
glad. It was a nice race. Nice way to wrap up the podcast before we go and see you guys in 2 weeks at the Austin Grand Prix that is happening in the US. That's going to be a lot of fun. So
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's it's going to be a lot of fun though. That's a good track. It's a fast track. It's a Mercedes track as well. So the 6-point gap can just get closed in no time. So we never know that.
Yeah.
Yes. That's it from us with me and Mihika at the F1GridView podcast at the episode 3. Hope to see you guys soon. Bye-bye. Bye, Mihika.
Bye. Bye.